Thank you so much for coming back to the table. We're talking about the do's and don'ts of marriage today. And we're talking to two of my favorite everyday people, Speech and Yolanda Thomas. They met at a post office more than 30 years ago, and the love has been signed, sealed, and delivered ever since. And joining the conversation is therapist Dr. Gerry White. He's a marriage counselor, a professor at Clark Atlanta University, and he's been married for 31 years. Welcome back to the show, Doc.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you here. So I kind of was eye hustling and was watching your face when the Thomases were talking. And I saw you nodding the whole time, nodding and smiling. What do you think about what you've heard so far?
Well, I think the most amazing thing that stood out is that when you think about restoration recommendations, you know, there was two things as I listened to it, healing and willing. Being, you know, having the willing spirit to restore and to strengthen, and being willing to do it. And so that was quite a bold move in terms of calling those individuals, but that's the willing. And that's part of the healing process. And so we definitely give the thumbs up in that. And that's why they made it to where they are now.
Yeah, which I feel it brings us to one of your do's, is that willingness to resolve conflict respectfully.
Absolutely, because, you know, there's a big difference between resolving issues and dissolving issues. And I always make that distinction. It's like a cube of sugar going into hot coffee. It takes a form. You know, the sugar, but when it goes in, it takes a different form. And so unresolved issues will show up later on in future arguments. And so so that resolving process of it doesn't show up again. It doesn't come up in an argument and an emotional reenactment. It moves toward a place where a couple can put it and put it to rest for good. And that's why I applaud it so much, because they began the resolving process and not the dissolving.
Yeah,
that's dope.
And to the two of you, it's an evolution. It's a process. I mean, whatever the test may be, right? It doesn't always have to be something as serious as infidelity. No. Just the daily things that you have to learn how to resolve versus dissolve. I'm holding up. I picked that one up and holding that one tight.
That was great.
Right? What is it, over time?
Absolutely. You know, there's a trend on TikTok where it's like, we listen and we don't judge. You know, we're really wanting to. I want to make sure I hear him. Yeah. He wants to make sure he hears me.
Yeah.
And you know,
we're responding not reacting.
Exactly.
Too. Yeah, and I think one of the other things that I liked on your do list is communicating openly and honestly, which obviously we see the benefits of that in this marriage for sure. Doc, you say don't keep score, and you too also had that on your list.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you know, for our experience, and we think this is wise, you don't want to keep people in the doghouse. You know, your relationship is supposed to be a safe place. And that's so important. It's supposed to be a refuge from the world, not a place where you're being accused, just like so many people outside of your doors are going to do for you. So, yeah, you want to make sure to not keep these records of wrongs and so on and so forth. And a lot of what our do's and don'ts are based on 1 Corinthians 13, which talks about that, not keeping a record of wrongs. So,
right. Criticizing or belittling, right? It's the difference between critiquing someone without crushing them.
Facts.
Well, the thing that we've learned is that, you know, if I have to say something that I know that he may not like, I say, listen, you know, you're an amazing husband, you're an amazing father. I love you so much. There's one thing I want to talk to you about. This, you know.
And how does that open you up? Because I guess that means, you know, there's about to be something that needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
But how does that soften you and make you more open to listening?
It puts it in the right context, because context is key. You know, a lot of times as men, especially, we feel judged all the time. We feel beaten up on all the time. And so if our partner sometimes comes to us with something that is a critique, if she doesn't, well, when she prefaces it with positive things that I've already done, positive attributes that she loves and admires about me, it helps me put it into context. This is one thing I need to change.
Right.
It's not everything.
And Doc, how important is it to be specific and intentional in that language?
Absolutely, and literally what they're saying, this is what emotional intelligence looks like. That it says that how I communicate an issue with you may be different than the way I communicated with you. And so being in tune with how your spouse handles that information. And this is really important. I always say 85 to 90% of the people in your life got your best interest at heart. And so the moment you start losing track of the fact that your spouse wants to tell you something that's important, and you begin to believe that they don't have your best interest in heart, it'll cause you to act differently. So this is what we applaud here, that I preface my statement with the love and care before I share with you something that's important for the relationship.
Right. And something that you all three had in common too was showing appreciation, showing gratitude, right? Because it's so easy to harp on, oh, I just wish you could, as opposed to taking that moment to say, nice job on, or thank you for making me feel, right?
Yes.
And let me throw this out. You know, for years, I thought people would believe that respect was the most important thing to have in a marriage and a relationship. So I challenged that, because the one thing greater than respect is appreciation. Because you can respect someone because of their position, but have no appreciation. But what appreciation looks like, that's those things that you do for your spouse. It's not connected to anything that they've said or they've done. It's you coming home, all right, I'm going to do my own stuff. It's coming home from a hard, crazy day of work in the middle of the week. I'll go to put the key in the door and I'm smelling chili beans and fried chicken in the middle of the week, right? You know,
Well, that's going to make us all feel
it's not a weekend meal, but my wife just cooked it because I could tell by the tone of your voice that you had a hard day. And so that appreciation, just the things that we do for one another, just because the thing that make you smile driving down the street, it ain't connected to nothing but just a random thought that you had about her.
Quickly, we have just a few seconds left. You are nodding because those are the acts of love that resonate.
Yeah, when he knows that I've had like a crazy day, you know, I'll sit on the couch and he'll say, "Give me those feet. Give me those feet." And that's
start the rubbing.
Start
the rubbing his feet.
Oh my goodness, that's everything for me.
That's it. That's it. Oh, it's touching my heart. Listen, don't go anywhere. Don't go. We've got more do's and don'ts right after the break.
Come on.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I really want to thank you for season 3 of Portia. It's because of loyal viewers like you that we keep getting to share this daily dose of positivity all across the country. So just a reminder, I still need you to like, comment, and subscribe, and go ahead and tell your friends. You can catch us now in Orlando, in San Francisco, in Atlanta, and all across the country on Fox Soul. Tell your friends. We'll see you soon on Portia.